By fair trade, maybe there is no trade system anymore. You don't know. It is of course an important decision whether you want to organize a Scheme 5 uprising at all. Does it always have to be necessary? It's better to have it ready before a tyranny comes down than to wait until the tyranny is installed, because then the tyranny will prevent it from being organized. While if it is already in place, they cannot as easily demonize it, and the people have an effective way of struggling against the tyranny. So the tyranny, if it tries, it is most likely rolled back. The people are put in jail. No street thugs here controlling everybody, but the tyrants and coup d'etat players who wanted to oppress the people, they have gone to jail. Why? Because the force was there to do that. Many people and many police officers will think, this is well organized, I can trust this. I can trust this better than a conventional army without all these safeguards for democracy. So what will I choose? I choose to be part of this military system, maybe also in the regular system. And then you win without any fighting. If you're ready, you win by organizing. You win the war by organizing and supplies. %10 of the people was my idea that it would be enough if 10% of the people organized in this way, in a credible way, that it would be such an immense force that no tyranny dares to go against it. So there will be no fighting. Take for example the current American army, which apparently is about 2 million people. They have about 300 million people. The nation is 300 million people. If the entire organized army in the USA were to engage in tyranny against the population, there will be 2 million people controlling 300 million. If we exclude the police force. Okay, if we organize with 10%, our army would be 30 million people big. So that is quite unlikely that they even dare to go against it, because they would all be killed. That in addition, that most of these army soldiers, officers, generals and police officers would most likely join this system because it is set up, because it is credible, and because it is better defended. It is more honorable. Okay. So, what are the systems, generally speaking? I'm going to explain it in detail later. That keep it in line, that keep the generals in line. Well, this entire army is to have a internal democracy. So this democracy, which is not a party democracy but a voter group democracy, groups of soldiers elect a delegate form councils. They can also be second level once the delegate group into groups of delegates. They can elect from between them someone who represents that group of delegates, and that way you can make one council for a very large group. Voter groups. But this is soldiers, officers, simply the people in the army, generals. They elect delegates. This is up to 50 persons, no more. So in this system you can, and a council is maximum about 50 or more, but 50 is a functional group for a council. This system can go up to a regiment level. So this is 2,500 people maximum. If you have more people in an army, these group again, and they say, okay, this one will represent this section of delegates, and this one then is part of a larger council with etc. This is the central council of this armed group, and they elect and replace the generals. All the time they control the generals. So if the victory is in sight, the general is not in charge, but the army democracy is in charge of the generals. They can replace this and can think, okay, we have won, we fear a tyranny from our own army, and we're going to elect another general. Because there are so many people in this system, in this army, it represents a large cross-section of the population. That was one so-called fist, one self-organized uprising under this system. Then there is to be many such fists. I'm going to explain later a little bit more about the detail. This is to show why it is defended from becoming its own problem. So these fists, they may be up to 200,000 people, or maybe just 2 persons. They strive toward the goals side by side. So if this army becomes corrupt, becomes a problem, then these armies prevent this one from abusing the people. Okay? So you get an internal, it's like a market force between companies, and it is a free market system between political parties, free market system between investment funds, and this is a free market system between military fists. So if this one becomes criminal, these strike this one out. If you know, but no. This is an important system here, that if you notice this flag, you can just see it. The general outline of this flag is a little bit similar to the insignia for a brigadier or a brigade general. See this? This is similar. This So in a way, the symbol of a brigade general is on the very flag of the whole system. That is to remind the soldiers and all that, everyone, that the strategic decisions and to go over into action is only taken at the general's level. So if you have a fist, this is only a platoon, which is a captain. This is 100 and 61 persons in total, they don't really have the right to make strategic decisions to go over into action. They should coordinate this with at least so many platoons until they are getting to 7,000 something people, which is a brigade. So this is to make sure the system, the fist is so large that it does not become a loose gang of 10 persons who wants to destroy things under this and then claim we are part of this system. No, you have to be organized into a brigade, and only then you can say we are going to engage in some sort of action, because then you are so big that the people can say, General, Brigade General, can you come to us and explain what your people did? So there's a sort of discipline, because it becomes larger, more noticeable, there are more people in it. The public is better represented into it. What are these goals that these fists are to strive for? Is it conquest of land? No. Is it to put the political opposition in jail? No. That would be tyranny. The goal is to protect freedom of speech, and freedom of assembly for us and for our political opponents. These armies do not automatically engage in action. They think, they strategize, which is why they are going over into action only at the general level. They don't organize a section, 6 soldiers and 1 corporal, and they go out to the street, and they're going to stand alongside the demonstration, and then the police is going to say, oh, you can't go this way. Then this section is going to attack the police? No. Under the guise of political speech must be protected, they must be able, this demonstration must be able to march everywhere and actually trample on other people's rights to walk where they want to. So it's very important to strive for these 2 simple goals in an intelligent way, which is also why it is only at the brigade and higher level that there is actually going to be a possible decision in the system to engage in real action. It is also not said that if a tyranny decides to prevent freedom of speech and prevent political assembly, that these armies then automatically attack the security forces. No, they're going to